Art of Balance returns once more to Nintendo systems, this time making its debut in high definition on the Wii U. The original Art of Balance on Wii was an excellent little puzzler that introduced us to the simple yet very addictive idea of stacking stones. The 3DS port then added plenty more stages and some useful touchscreen controls to the mix, meaning even returning players would find something new to dig into. Have the developers pushed their luck with a third version of the game, however, or is their latest effort worth just one more revisit? Art of Balance is a simple physics-based puzzler that sees you stacking a small handful of assorted stones over small pools of water. Each stage has its own selection of different shaped stones, semicircles, triangles and so on, that must all be used whilst making sure none tumble into the wet stuff. Once the final block has been added, you will need to maintain its position for 3 seconds. It may not seem like much, but when you're watching nervously as your construction starts to favour left or right, it really starts to feel it. The great thing about Art of Balance is that more often than not, there is no one real way of completing a stage. You may opt to use a square block for your foundation on one stage, for example, while another player might choose to use a cross-shaped one with both ending in the same results. It's a game that requires experimentation rather than determination. It's no use attempting the same method over and over, when instead it proves more effective to try an entirely new one. Arcade mode offers 200 stages distributed across 8 worlds, the same stages you'd find in the 3DS version. While the good majority of the puzzles simply require you to drop stones on a solid base, you'll also find stages that task you with stacking up to a certain height, on a platform floating in water, within a time limit, or even while keeping balance on a seesaw. These modified stages offer some rather interesting challenges, and it's just a shame there aren't more of them in the game. As you progress through each world, you'll slowly be introduced to new blocks that feature unique characteristics. Blocks with a white circle in their centre, for example, will break after anything has been placed on top of it, while one with a green circle in its centre can take the weight of 2 shapes before also breaking itself. Again, these add an extra level of difficulty to the proceedings, as they often require you to rethink how you stack your bundle of stones. The game eases you into the swing of things nicely, with puzzles starting off fairly simple and becoming more complex with every passing world. It was around halfway through I found my retry count suddenly spiking, with more complicated blocks appearing that would even go as far as to reverse gravity. Getting through the arcade mode is one thing, but completing every single challenge will take real skill. If you're familiar with the 3DS version of the game, then sadly you may find yourself disappointed with the fact there's no new puzzles to be found here in arcade mode. It seems a real shame the developers didn't include a few new worlds as an added bonus for those who've stuck with the series since its Wii days. While Art of Balance doesn't really offer much in the way of new stages, it does sport a couple of extra options. A new addition is Tower Tumble, a mode that sees up to 5 players taking turns to drop a stone onto the playing field, with the loser being the one who topples the entire thing. It's a simple, yet surprisingly fun tweak on the formula, and one that is certainly more fun the more people that join in. Online also makes its debut, allowing you and a team to compete with friends or strangers around the world. This is essentially the same split screen mode that featured in the Wii version, but with the added bonus of allowing a group on each system. Of course, this can also be played locally as well. Endurance mode makes its return, now with the added bonus of online leaderboards. Here, you'll find yourself playing through stages one by one, being awarded points based on your performance. Whereas I found myself largely ignoring this option in the 3DS version, thanks to a lack of interaction with other players, being able to compare scores online here gave it that addictive feeling the handheld was sorely missing. The game has a nice crisp look to it, with some excellent lighting effects in play too. Locations themselves appear stylish and almost calming in a way, with flowers, bowls of fruit, stones and hanging ornaments littering the backgrounds throughout. Windows with a night moonlight seeping through are particularly impressive to witness. The same can be said for the music, which features a chilled out soundtrack perfectly suited to the style the game has. Art of Balance is a great little physics-based puzzler with plenty of content for newcomers to enjoy. Players familiar with the developer's previous versions of this game, however, may find their experience slightly dampened due to a lack of any real surprises or fresh meaningful content outside of a couple of new modes. A stable, if slightly wobbly effort then,